going to take you around to the front of this neighborhood. Again, this is the farm at Brunswick in Carolina Shores. And these neighbors are kind of just milling around. You look up right here, you're looking at a roof that is just completely demolished on this side. The search for what the New Hanover County Sheriff's Office calls a violent suspect ended right here behind me. Neighbors who heard it all unfold say it happened in just seconds. Actually, we're getting one of those gusts of wind right now where the wind really picks up and the rain just comes down on you. We got here a little while ago, like I said. The drive down here was not too bad at first, but conditions were getting worse. Law enforcement officers found Smith holding a woman at gunpoint in a car back behind several businesses here on West Broad Street. I've been trying out a couple games here, and I'm gonna test them out for you, see how they are. So I'm going for that Brady jersey up there. Overpasses like this one on the bridges, especially for your morning commute tomorrow morning. Make sure you go extra slow, be careful, because those are the places that will see some slick spots, if any at all. High police presence here in downtown Wilmington. We're right on 3rd Street at the steps of City Hall where the protest first started. And again, Mayor Bill Saffo announcing there is a citywide curfew in place right now.
The time for that to be tolerated on the campus of the UNC Wilmington is over.
More and more people putting their foot down as the movement against UNCW professor Mike Adams gains momentum.
That person should not be teaching young minds. That person should not be allowed to harass people.
The criminology professor has previously won lawsuits against the university on First Amendment rights. Seahawk graduate Gary Shipman calls himself a staunch advocate for academic freedom, but says Adams has gone too far.
It is my belief that Professor Adams has crossed the line and that accordingly, nothing or much of what he has done is protected under the First Amendment at all.
Shipman, a donor to UNCW, announced he's pulling his funding until Mike Adams is no longer employed at the university.
He's had an opportunity to walk back some of his conduct, some of his words. And so, yes, given that he can't do that and has shown he's incapable of doing that, then yes, I'm calling upon the university to take disciplinary action against him, including his termination.
Actor and Wilmington resident himself, Orlando Jones, is right there with Shipman.
So the question is not just how do we get rid of Mike Adams? The real question is who has been protecting Mike Adams all this time? Who has allowed this to continue? Who looked in the face of those students and said, you should expect and accept the fact that you're being harassed?
After seeing Adams' tweets and hearing from students, Jones calls Adams' actions harassment, bullying, cyberbullying, and more. Even One Tree Hill stars taking to Twitter showing their own outrage about Adams' statements, demanding for him to be fired.
So UNC Wilmington is 100% complicit, 100% complicit here. They know and have been protecting him.
The university says it has no further comment on the matter at this time. We again reached out to Professor Adams for a comment, but have not yet heard back.
You're so grateful for the help, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
The hurt of losing your home not once, but twice.
I told everybody I had hurricane PTSD, and I was joking, but I didn't know it was really true.
First Matthew, then Florence.
When I would walk in before, it was depressing.
Embarrassing, really.
It was embarrassing for my children.
Because Sandra Settle knew she and her family may not be able to stay. Her home destroyed twice. The first time around,
FEMA gave us $126 for cleanup. That was it.
Settle says they had to make the repairs out of their own pockets. Then after Florence, Governor Roy Cooper says the state tried to get as much federal funding as we could.
But we know that there are a lot of holes in those programs, and so putting together Rebuild NC helped us plug some of those holes.
Cooper says the focus is now on funding for long-term recovery for families like the Settles.
You've got to be smarter about how you rebuild, and that's what they have done with this. And if we can get people back into their own homes, we want to.
Settle says they never would have been able to make the repairs without Rebuild NC.
There's only so many home renovations you can do when you don't have the money to do them.
From walking into a feeling of embarrassment to now,
like Santa Claus has been to town.
Settle feels like she can finally live again.
There couldn't have been a better Christmas present for my family. It's just incredible.
We wanted something that would really bring life and to bring hope and inspiration. So the spirit of Kobe will live forever.
From thousands of miles away, one Bladen County man knew he could do something special.
For everybody to be able to feel, you know, that love and the spirit of him and what he stood for, what he represented, and everything he brought to the game.
We've told you about Fletcher Collins, who started building custom caskets for families' loved ones.
I know I can't take away their pain.
That's what Collins says every time he builds a piece. This time, it hit on a whole new level.
You know, I always dream high, hope big, that one day I would do something for someone really great to help them and their family in, you know, of the loss. But no, I didn't see this day this soon or early in my life.
When Collins got the call from a family friend of Kobe Bryant, he went to work, building a tribute casket for Kobe, his daughter Gianna, and the 7 others that died in that helicopter crash.
We were hoping that it would touch his fans and family again in a way that this here piece would be so memorable that it would never ever go away.
Just like Kobe's legacy, Collins wanted the casket to reflect that.
The Black Mamba, you know, in the Staples Center, because that's where he spent 20 years.
In just 72 hours, Collins built the casket, hoping it would embody all the same things the NBA legend did.
Thinking about Kobe and what he brought to not only to the NBA, but to all the neighborhoods with the young ones that desire to be like a Kobe, and that one day it'll lead to a smile on their face.